Good morning. My name is Joe Bockersteady, and I'm a partner with Business Enterprise Mapping in Scottsdale, Arizona. Through the Perigon method, BEM transforms how clients create value, solve problems, and manage work. So for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to explain our Perigon Playbook, which represents how we map business processes within the organization. So the Perigon Playbook has 4 components: the scorecard, which is the cover of the book; the architecture profile, which is the table of contents of the book; the process map itself, which is the contents; and the knowledge matrices, which represents the appendices. And so I'm going to give you a brief explanation of each component of the Perigon Playbook. So this is a process scorecard, the cover of the playbook. The top half of the scorecard represents the current status of that process and where it is at in terms of improving that process. The blue section in the middle here is the forward flow of the product or service through the process, along with the defined purpose of that process. The reverse flow under red is the feedback on that process, beginning with the customer back to the process and the process back to the supplier. So this is a one-page view of the status of that process and where we're at in improving that process. The table of contents is the architecture profile. The architecture profile is typically used as an executive level summary of the work that's taking place in the process. We complete the architecture profile as an initial step in building the Perigon Playbook because it allows us to get a good scope of what actually is taking place in that process. So the architecture profile has the 3 main suppliers, the main products they provide, about a half a dozen major tasks, the major products that process produces, and the 3 major customers. So this is a good way to understand the primary value proposition of what's taking place in that process. Then down the column on the left are the current performance levels of that process and a few basic performance statistics. We apply these to all processes that we study. So you've got the product of that process, what the volume of that product is, what the first pass yield of that process is, to the extent to which that process produces its product first time without rework or scrap, the total cost of that process and the unit cost of that process, the cycle time of that process relative to the task time and wait time. And so we're able to benchmark processes across different industries, different types, different forms, different shapes, based on using this same set of common performance statistics. Then the third element is the process map itself. This is a Perigon map. So this Perigon map flows from top to bottom and from left to right. The task, events, and decisions are down the middle of that process map. We've got inputs, sources, and what types coming from the left, and outputs of those tasks going to the right. On column B and column F, we show red clouds of this process. So red clouds are problems and opportunities to improve that process. When we're mapping a Perigon map with a client, we're capturing, as we map, what the problems and opportunities are to improve that process, typically resulting in 25 to 50 process opportunities once we've completed a map. On the column on the very right are the responsible parties for each of the tasks of that process. And then the column on the very left are the knowledge details that are accessed to support that process. And so a Perigon Playbook represents a 3-dimensional characterization of a process. It can go as long, as wide, or as deep as it needs to go to capture all of the relevant knowledge and information to operate that process. The last element of the process playbook is the knowledge matrix. The knowledge matrix captures the additional detail or information that's required to operate or improve that process. This particular matrix is an opportunity matrix. So in this opportunity matrix, we're identifying the red cloud that's on the process map itself, a problem statement description of that red cloud, what level of opportunity that red cloud sits in the organization, and what the current status of that red cloud is, and how that red cloud is categorized. And so through knowledge matrices, we're able to capture an unlimited amount of additional detail to support that process. We have over 30 different matrices that can be applied to a process, and we would typically always do matrices such as an information matrix, a metrics matrix, a value-added matrix, a RACI matrix, sometimes a regulatory matrix, and an opportunity matrix. Depending on what the client's trying to achieve with that scope of study, we'll move matrices around to help them achieve their objectives. So that's a Perigon Playbook. You've got 4 elements: a process scorecard, an architecture profile, a process map, and a knowledge matrix. Interested in learning more, you can go to our website. We have an ebook, Challenge the Way You Think About Work, that further explains the Perigon Playbook as well as the overall Perigon method for improving organization performance. Our website, www.businessmapping.com, or you can call our 800 number. Thank you very much.